And if you have any questions during our presentation, please feel free to type those into the chat and we'll make sure to answer the questions during the meeting, and we'll have time at the end to do Q&A as well. So with that, let's jump on in. So tonight we have a lot of stuff packed into this short meeting, so we'll be giving you a ton of information. We're going to be covering our marketing campaign, and we're also going to be wanting to get your feedback on the marketing initiatives and campaign. We'll also do a bit of a review of our GRIT campaign. We're going to talk about our fall snack attack, prepping for the popcorn sale and using that as a recruitment tool. We have a few updates to make on MyScouting and Be a Scout. We will be going over STEM club programming as well as our upcoming PAC and family activities. And we're also going to cover some different ways to invite new scouts to your programs right now. So with that, we're going to have Chris start us off with our marketing.
Alrighty, thanks, Claire, and howdy, gang. Nice seeing you this evening. So we are continuing our GRIT campaign, if you will. It was something we developed a year ago for last fall and whatnot, and it just happens to be that GRIT has been the thing that has resonated with everybody, and by golly, all of you scouts and scouters out there have shown incredible grit during COVID. So a different kind of grit than we expected. We figured it would be playing in the dirt and things of that nature, but you showed perseverance and resilience, and it's been amazing, and we're excited to get back to it and get back to some real deal scouting. So we're continuing this approach, and with two real sort of messages and themes, if you will. One being grit starts here with Cub Scouts, since that is where it all begins. And so here's some different signage that we're playing with here, and I want to get your feedback. So feel free to open your chat there and just give honest feedback on what you think. What we're doing here is we've got some signage. These are, imagine these as big banners, so big 4x6 banners, and that you could hang up anywhere. We actually have a couple different sizes we're toying with here. And so some signs have kids scouts in masks. Some have are really for the regular Cub Scout groups doing things, you know, activities and whatnot. And then of course we have it in Spanish as well. So these are the Cub Scout versions of these. And actually you can, there's a little QR code. Go ahead and click on that on your phone. Take a little scan of that, just because that will actually take you to the recruiting page where you can order some of these, pre-order really. These won't be available till May 1st. So we will have these all available and quote unquote shipping, so to speak. You may have a DE that drops them off to you or whatnot. We'll work all those kinds of details out, whatever kind of works for everybody, since the office is still technically shut down to the public. So anyway, a little different still as it has been, but you can go ahead and play with that QR code, because we're going to talk a little bit more about QR codes here in a bit as well. So go ahead and click the next one here. We'll look at some Scouts BSA/venturing materials as well. So this is for the older Scouts groups. So their message is grit lasts forever, right? So we have grit starts here as for Cub Scouts, and then we talk about grit lasts forever as being the theme for Scouts BSA. And we're going to be talking a lot about this at the Court of Honor, actually. So those of you who want to attend that, that's going to be fun to see some of this messaging play out as well. But I really feel like that these messages have really resonated with everybody and seem to have been inspirational for everybody. And it's the truth about who we are as an entity, as a brand, as an organization, and that we really do it better than I think, of course, anybody else. So anywho, as you can see in both of these examples, let's talk to the previous one real quick. And you'll see that each one has an area for when you meet and your contact info. So you could throw in your URL if you want there. You could actually print out a little QR code and have that on the sign. You could just tape it on there. You could glue it on there, kind of whatever you'd want to do. You could even use a little label. And then it has when you meet. So the thinking is here's grit starts here, and you'd put Tuesdays, 7 p.m. And you could put this right in front of your meeting venue as well. So go ahead and click the next one again. But I just wanted to share with everybody that you can actually put your when and your contact info, could be an email address, whatever sort of works for you. These are large, so there is room to write something. And but anyway, in the chat, go ahead and toss your feedback in there. I'd love to see what you think. Obviously, here we have examples of, we've got link troop versions, girl troop versions, boy troop versions, and so hopefully that works out for everybody. Trying to show real activity and some fun and all the great things that we do in scouting, and we'll continue to do as always. So go ahead and go to the next one here. I think you're going to talk about this, and we'll come back to where you'll find all of this stuff as well. Go ahead, Claire.
Thanks, Chris. Really exciting about all the different marketing materials and that QR code and all the different things you can do with those banners. We also wanted to add some recruitment opportunities to our fall snack attack sale. So if you were part of our spring, what had previously been the candy and meat stick sale, we did a little bit of rebranding to just make it a little bit more fun. And we're now calling it our snack attack. For all those hungry scouts and all those hungry people that we can provide snacks to do some fundraising. So for the popcorn sale coming up this fall, we are very hopeful that we'll be able to do storefront sales again. And those, of course, are a huge marketing opportunity for all of our scouts as people in their neighborhood and community walk past them going into the grocery store. So Chris has been working on creating some of these super cool marketing opportunities with our snack attack. The first thing is a potential table banner. So this would be something to really draw in that customer, the person you want to make a sale to with the popcorn sale, sending a scout to camp as the mission for that interaction. And then we had the idea of adding some stickers as an option for the popcorn sale so that these circle stickers on the bottom, you could actually slap these right on the product that you're selling. And this is your take home for the family to check out scouting. So yes, lots of people already send home like a little postcard or a one-sheeter that says all the information about your Cub Scout pack with anyone who might be interested in scouting when you sell popcorn. But adding that sticker to it, they're not going to lose it in the car, and it sends them right to our grit kit. So it's helping you to kind of draw them in even further to the scouting program. And then we also had this idea of the really cool CSP sticker giveaway, and this would be more of a vinyl sticker, so something like long lasting that they could put on a water bottle. And it's just super cool. Like, I want one of those. So we should order them for something. So yeah, we're really excited about all these potential opportunities that we're currently exploring. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to work with the Trails End folks too, and because they've created some great point of sale materials as well. We'll probably likely rebrand them, and so you'll see that'll be more about snack attack and things like that, and some of our branding, and it will be some different materials we'll play with for the tabletop itself. So really the goal is if you stand way back and you see this little sign, like, it should really pop. And even though your scouts message may be a little bit more or different than just sending them to camp for this fundraiser, we're trying to just really grab people's attention. And that's really the basis, especially for Camp for All, right, is to give every youth an opportunity to get to camp. So that's really the goal here, is just something that's eye-catching, something a little different, using the orange as well, or retail red, as we like to say, so to really get it to pop. And so I think that should work really well. And then, of course, every kid that walks by, you just slap a sticker on their back. Hey, good job. It's the old one of those signs, you put on your friends as gags, right? I don't want to say what those signs might say, but anyway, so it could be really fun. And Claire was talking earlier about just having a whole roll of these things, so we could use them for anything. You could actually put them on the box, you could stick them on a bag, whatever it would be, just something that really tells people what we're all about, which would be fun. Okay, next. So a couple other marketing things, and again, back to the snack attack, it's an opportunity to really, in a fun way, just show that we're out here, we're doing some great stuff, to have conversations with the public. And so that's one thing about snack attack. It's a great opportunity for you to be the face of the brand of scouting, as we say. So kind of like all those people giving out Red Bulls, so you're kind of like that. Anyway, so the couple other quick things is, if you haven't been there before, the Boy Scouts of America has this fantastic brand center at scouting.org/brand center. I should have put a QR code here as well, but I forgot. But it's a great place that you can go and just poke around there. There's a lot of great assets. We'll put a bunch of our assets and resources as well on our page at cpcbsa.org/recruiting. But I want you to go check those out. There are some really scouting.org brand center has some great materials on kids wearing masks. It's Cub Scouts, there's Scouts BSA stuff. They've got videos. They've done a really great job. The marketing team there has done an awesome job of just really collecting new and fresh materials. So even with the summer summer activities that are going on. They're not necessarily focused on, of course, our properties and things like that, but they're a great way to paint a picture. So if you're just needing some great resources and assets, they have great stuff. Of course, you can always grab things from our website, the cpcbsa.org website as well, at any time, and grab those too. We have a bunch of downloads too. So go check that out. There's a whole variety of things there for every program that the BSA creates. It's really fantastic. So, and it's all searchable. There's photos, videos, there's templates and things like that. And since this is a different time for us, we haven't created any new printable material. So if you want something right now, you can use the BSA's content with their messaging. Totally works fine. We're sort of in this weird limbo stage where people aren't really meeting and things. So we're not really at this point planning on a lot of printed, handed out materials yet. So, but we're going to be really flexible about when that occurs. So at cpcbsa.org/recruiting, you can go there, you can click the little banner link, and it goes to the actual place where you can order these banners. And this is really pre-order. So we'll start shipping these out, so to speak, on May 1st. So I'd love to have a gauge as to who wants some. So go ahead and fill that form out. We'll keep track of it. We'll let you know when you can pick those up, or when we ship them out, or when somebody will hand them off to you. So there's that. And that'll keep growing and blossoming. So go to cpcbsa.org/recruiting, and you'll see new tools there as we build them out. We'll always keep those available, and we'll try and keep you up to date as to what's available there as well. Okay, next. And yeah, so the other thing too is, and Claire will talk a little bit more about this as well, is the Be a Scout pin. We had a great conversation about that earlier. It's just really, really key that you go to beascout.org and just type in your unit, or search for nearby for a nearby unit. See what pops up there. You should look and see what other units are doing in the area, see how they're speaking, how they're talking, and make sure yours is up to date. So you can actually add a little sentence about who you are as a unique brand of your own, so to speak. So you're Scout Troop. So I'm Scoutmaster Troop 107, and we love to do epic adventures. That's just our jam, is being outside, and we're going to Glacier this year. So that's what we're going to promote. So anywho, you should keep that updated and make sure the contact information is correct. And you can actually then also download a QR code, just like you just played with here on our presentation here, and use that on any materials. So you could use that on any of your join materials. You can use that on your Facebook page and create graphics from that as well, or put that on any graphics. One thing to think about, however, is that, to me as a Scout leader, this is the second step. You really want to pull people into the uniqueness of who you are as a Scout unit. So, Jenny's in a pack, and they're super active. They're just going, doing awesome stuff all the time. And so they have a unique thing that they've created. So really, for their pack, it may be driving people to the Facebook page before Be a Scout, right? Be a Scout is where you actually click to join now as well. So these pins that they give you, these QR codes, are really to get people to join, or take that step to actually join. So it may be something you use secondarily, like in an email, for instance, or on a piece of material that you're handing out to somebody after they've already experienced you as a unit, Scout unit. So just make sure that's all updated. And everybody can go to scouting there, my.scouting.org, I believe, to update that, correct?
Correct. Yep, Chris. And when someone looks for scouting in their community and Googles it, this is the first thing that comes up. So it's so crucial to have this updated and use it as the great tool that it is.
National is they continue to put money towards Google AdWords and things like that for this. So we don't do that here because it really is for scouting.org, but they're doing a lot of work to target people for that. So that's a super great point, Claire.
Yeah, and there's a couple things that are being updated that will make this an even more useful tool. So I believe this option has been available for a little while, but it was just emphasized how important that this is. There's a welcome email that you can create on my.scouting.org for your online registration emails. So if you're accepting those online registrations, you can have a welcome email that's automatically sent to them within 24 hours. And National found out that the number one thing that people wanted to know when they signed up is, what do I do next? So in this welcome email, this is a place for you to let them know. It's really small print on here, but this is an actual example of a venturing crew that one of our national BSA staff members, she's part of this venturing crew. So she's like, I'm going to show you my crew. This is what we send out. And her name's Patwell, and she does like all of the analytics for national BSA. So she definitely knows what she's doing. And she put in this email, we meet the second and fourth Thursdays of every month, 7 p.m. to 8:30. This is the address that we meet at. So really taking all the mystery out of our members who are joining online, because there are people who join online, but then they never end up joining the program because they didn't get that follow-up email. So take out the busy work for you of trying to reply to all of these. It gets lost in the inbox, and just put it right in my.scouting.org. Use this tool to your advantage. And also a very exciting update related to this on my.scouting.org, another tool that's going to save you time. At the end of this month or near the beginning of May, this update will be live on my.scouting.org. You will be able to drag and drop adults into new positions. So this is an update to the position manager tool. And previously, if you had an adult changing position not during charter renewal time, you would have to turn in a paper application for that adult. So gone are the days of needing to find your paper applications, get them to put down their social security number again and everything else, get them to turn it in at the scout office. Now you can just simply drag and drop people into new positions. This does need to be done by your charter org rep or by your designee on my.scouting.org. So once again, important to keep this tool updated so that you can utilize this new feature that we're so excited about. It's going to save so much time for all of our volunteers. So very exciting updates, of course. Jenny, it's your turn. Jenny has exciting updates too.
Thanks. I have a whole bunch of exciting updates. As a Cub Master myself, I'm really excited about all the changes within MyScouting though. No more tracking down emails and following up all the time. So what I have to share about are some awesome digital meetings that we've come up with the team. Last summer, we released our first series, and that was 8 plug and play meetings. Some of you may have already done them. If you haven't, go check them out. There's a meeting based on outer space, red carpet, superheroes, dinosaurs, ocean explorer, hiking, passport to adventure, and inventors lab. Each of these meetings comes with a leader guide and an interactive presentation. And you can use them for in-person meetings too, if you wish. Maybe you've already done the meetings and now you're going to do it again. It's always good to reinforce things with Cub Scouts. The next thing we've come up with are the STEM Club meetings. These were all based off of our Summer Adventure Club as well. And it's a series of 7 meetings. And there will be Uncovering the Past, Swing, Nova Wild, Fearful Symmetry, Up and Away, Out of This World, and Cub Scouts Can Code. Each week will feature an interactive activity that you'll do with the Scouts during the meeting. There's going to be a materials list, a master. So just like these guides on the screen, these are the leaders guides. There's also going to be a master's material list guide that will tell you exactly what supplies each Cub Scout will need for the meeting. So you can either send that to the parents and say, hey, get these supplies, have them ready before each meeting, or you may even, as the leader, pack up all the little gallon-sized baggies for each week, be super organized, and then go around and do a COVID-safe drop-off to them in preparation for the digital meetings. Depending on your county's restriction levels and your cohort limits, you may even be able to run these meetings in person. We'll hear more about those rules from Claire later. There's also going to be a STEM lab manual. It's not shown here, but it will have over 50 other activities to do with your Scouts. On the screen now is a meeting preview. This is the Uncovering the Past meeting. You'll notice each week has it, week 1, week 2, week 3. It's not super important you follow that, other than with week 1. We definitely recommend this as your first activity because the Scouts are going to be making a hot dog mummy. You're going to examine things like archaeology, artifacts, ecofacts, and physical remains. And then that hot dog has to sit in the cupboard for a week as it mummifies. And you can even go 2 weeks or 3 weeks. What I don't recommend is letting it sit there for 6 or 7 months and then finding it when it's time to do the project with another group of scouts. So definitely do this meeting first and remind them every week, maybe even on that very last STEM meeting, say, okay, throw the hot dog away, we're done with it now. And then on the next page, we have a lot of really fun events coming up. The 5K, the Hiking Challenge, and Scout Quest were all really popular events that CPC brought you during the pandemic, and we're going to be continuing those. The 5K is coming up in just a few weeks. Next slide, please. And you can run, walk, bike, or ride. We just want you to get out there and get active. So whatever that means for you, just get out there and get active. Maybe you have a medical condition and you can only do 1 mile at a time and take a break. Being outside is important. You're going to make your own 3.12 mile course, which is what 5K is. There's also 2 price levels this time. It's $15 is the medal and race bib for basic registration, and $35 will get you the medal, race bib, and some extra swag. Be watching for a mock-up of that on the website once we have that ready. You may do it as a unit, a cohort, maybe you even want to do a walking 5K and do a litter cleanup along the way. That's what my unit will be doing. Just be sure to give that safety talk beforehand about biohazards and what not to pick up and what you do want them picking up. Register for that by April 23rd. And then the next event we have coming up that registration will be opening soon for is the hiking club, the hiking challenge. We want you to hike into summer fun with all of your friends. You might find a leaf bigger than your head. You may take your dog up to a mountaintop and pretend it's Simba, or you may just find some really cool views to sit and chat with your dad. The girls in the middle, they went on a pumpkin patch corn maze and did their 5K that way in October. You'll want to challenge yourself, your family, and your unit to 9 days of awesome fun with a chance to win prizes. That challenge is coming up June 19th to 27th, so make sure to watch for registration and get signed up. You don't want to miss out. Next up is Reed with more ways that we can start meeting and seeing all of our Scout friends.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. Those are some really fun adventures that you guys have planned. So I want to highlight our Grit campaign first. We have a campaign that we've been doing since last fall. And this is where new families will head to cpcbsa.org/grit, and they will put in some information and receive a adventure kit that includes a book for their respective youth's age, yo-yo, activity guide, and maybe some more fun stuff, stickers, patches, stuff like that. After they've done this, they receive their kit. They'll be personally contacted by a member of the CPC team, and they'll talk to them a little bit more about scouting, and then try and find them a unit that best fits their needs. Of course, this is a great thing to share on social media. You can share it with your friends, family, and get people on the Grit campaign. Awesome. So the buddy system is something I'm sure we're all aware of, and that can, of course, be applied to social distance scouting. Utilizing the buddy system is great to pair scouts with the same age or the same rank, and they can complete requirements outside, and of course, obviously following health and safety guidelines. Some ideas for buddy system scouting would be bringing your own supplies, going on hikes, cooking together, or scavenger hunt. And just like I said, you know, we're all trying to do our best. So be sure to follow those health and safety guidelines. They're always changing, but just do your best. Next slide, Chris. Awesome, thank you. And then as always, we can invite our friends, use the adventures that Jenny talked about as playdate activities. Invite someone new to scouting. There's tons of requirements that can be done outside in a park in your backyard. And you know, even if this friend or someone you invited to do these adventures with doesn't join scouting, maybe when there are more opportunities, they join later. I am very proud of what this team has been able to accomplish over the last year. We have been able to provide hours and hours of socialization just through Zoom, through programs we've put on in the last year. So that's been fantastic, and you can of course invite your friends to that. And as always, use the GRIT campaign. So I'll pass it off to you, Claire. Thank you.
Thanks, Reed. And we really want to emphasize with everything that Reed and Jenny shared, all of the possibilities that you do have for meeting with your den right now, whether that be virtually or in person. And here we want to chat about our current guidelines for meeting in person. We do have a COVID task force at Cascade Pacific Council. This is a group of people, volunteers that we have brought together who are experts in relating to COVID and how we should operate as an organization given the current guidelines. And they've helped us to create our system that we're currently asking everybody to use in the guidelines for how they're meeting. So it does change a lot, like Reed said, and we do really try to keep this as up to date as possible so that everybody knows the rules that they should be following with their Cub Scout packs. So right now we are allowing our Cub Scout packs to meet as groups of cohorts. So you can consider this your den in your Cub Scout pack. And that's a group of people that is up to 12 people. And that includes the scouts, parents, and leaders. But something to just always be aware of is that there do need to be 2 adult leaders there in regards to our youth protection guidelines. So just keep that in mind. These groups can look very different though, depending on what den you are meeting with. So if it's your lion's den, then every single scout is going to have a parent with them. Or if there's triplets, there might be 3 kids with 1 parent. So it's going to look different no matter what, but the max is to have 12 people. And then something to consider is that the cohorts cannot mix. So you can't have like a cohort split into 2 and then meet with a different cohort. It needs to just be that same group of 12 people. But you can have multiple cohorts that are meeting in the same location. So if you were at the elementary school in the basketball court, you could each meet in like separate corners or in the field, stuff like that. So those are the current guidelines for how we are meeting in person. And we did make sure that the task force really considered the type of organization that the BSA is, because we weren't specifically listed anywhere in the state guidelines. So we had to kind of come up with our own place that we fit into the guidelines to create this current recommendation. So we really appreciate those volunteers for giving us this recommendation. And it has been great to just see scouts meeting in their small cohort groups this spring. So what do we do now? We went through a lot of different materials tonight, and we'll make sure to answer all of the questions in the chat. Everybody's been pretty quiet. So if you have any questions, now is the time to get those into the chat so that we can answer them. But there are 3 main things that we wanted you to take away from our meeting tonight. And that was to use our CPC resources to plan your program. So we have all of these resources available, and we want to make sure that you know about them so that they can be utilized in your program planning. So all of the resources that Jenny talked about, yes, they're all virtual. They can be used virtually, but they can just as easily be used in an in-person setting. So if you need some meeting ideas for this summer, why not do the STEM meetings all summer long? They're already planned for you. They're spelled out to a T. Secondly, we want you to make sure that you're updating your Be a Scout pin and utilizing the marketing materials. These materials and the Be a Scout pin, they are only as good as you to the extent that you utilize them. So if you update your pin, if you get that email ready to send out to your new applicants, and if you utilize the marketing materials, that's going to be your best bet for recruiting new members into your program. And we are finding more than anything that it's that person-to-person ask to join scouting and the quick follow-up on those leads of people who want to join scouting. That's where we're getting the most people joining our scouting programs. And third, make a plan to invite new scouts now. So what does that look like within your Cub Scout pack? Are you making sure to follow up with all of your Be a Scout leads right away? Are you having your scouts invite friends to your fun programs that you're already doing? And then how are you considering keeping your cohort to a size of 12 when you do invite new scouts to check out scouting? So make those plans and be prepared to grow your Cub Scout pack and invite more kids into the program, because we're about to enter a real season of joining. And we want to make sure that Cub Scouts is at the top of everybody's list so that they can take part in this really fun program that you all are spending so much time making. Oh, so we have a survey. Chris just reminded me of this. We have a survey that we're going to put into the chat. And Chris, do you want to talk about the survey?
Yeah, just a super quick survey to find out how we can help you, and whether it's recruiting or going camping, all that kind of jazz. So it just has a few questions there, just in wondering how we can help you from a marketing standpoint, what kind of tools you might need. It'll just give us a good idea as to how we can help you further as we're building out all of these materials and stuff. There's also a couple of questions about summer camp and wondering if you're attending, if not, what's your thinking there. And so it's super quick, just a few questions. Just I'll take you a couple of seconds if you want to check that out. It was also sent in your email. I'm always hammering on the email thing to check your email, because they tend to go in the spam filter, but it is where you get lots of great information, and we send that out weekly. So check that out, because the link is in there as well. And there was a question someone had in the chat I was just seeing about whether or not you can customize where the QR code will direct people. I don't believe the My.Scouting one does. It actually goes right to the Be a Scout, your Be a Scout page. However, what you can see in the QR codes that we used here, we just used a QR code generator. They are free unless you actually want some. If you're using a lot of them, we actually pay a small subscription fee because we use a lot more of them. But if you just need one or two, there's a whole bunch of QR code generators, really easy to use. You can just do a quick search for it. I know a lot of units have been using it and testing it out to see if that works. And we actually did some. It's funny, Claire mentioned on the last presentation we did that they've come back into vogue, and mostly because for a long time they really just weren't working on everybody's phones, but now they are, and it does make it really easy to drive people directly to something. So I'd say, again, in terms of nurturing somebody to join, to come into your meetings and check it all out, it's a process, right? So it's not just like, hi, I'm Bill, you should join our Scouts right now, go to beascout.org. No, you've got to bring them into it, right? Like Jenny's pack, for instance, just showing them how awesome, whether they're doing the virtual things and STEM Club and all this stuff, whatever they're doing, it's awesome, and bringing them into that, because all these kids need something awesome to do. So it's such a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Then sending them to the Be a Scout page.
Yeah, so true, Chris. And just showing what scouting offers. Like, so what are you putting out there? What are people finding out about your Cub Scout pack? What does your school know about your Cub Scout pack? People are going to be, entering this phase where like they're rejoining programs, and we want to make sure scouting and your Cub Scout pack is at the forefront of the decisions that they're making. Also with the Be a Scout pin, you can update your pin to include like your pack website or, other information. But you can also, this is also a new feature being added to Be a Scout. And I don't know if it's live yet, but it's another feature that they're currently working on. You'll be able to change your pin's address so that it's actually at the location that you're meeting at. And I know this had been an issue in the past, is that it was tied directly to the chartering organization. So they are really actively working on like making the Be a Scout pin just a better tool and something that we're more excited to utilize. And I want to see, and if you have a great website that showcases like Chris's troop, I don't know, Chris, do you want to drop your troop's website into the chat? It's awesome. And like, it's one of those things like you would want a QR code to direct you right to that website, because they're going to see it and be like, oh yeah, like I want to do that too. Any other questions? Someone wanted to know how mummified the hot dog was, Matt Winnett. That was me, so we don't have to answer that question. Let's see. Oh, and this question was asked at our last meeting too. Is there a price of the banners? So we do provide marketing materials every single year. We're currently working on our budgeting for our marketing materials. Our goal is to be able to provide one banner for each Cub Scout pack that can utilize one, and we'll provide other materials as well. So start considering now where you would place that banner. Look for that place that gets a lot of traffic. I live in Southeast Portland, and there's a banner that I see that's like right on the main road, right through Southeast Portland, right by Target, McDonald's. Like they just have the premier location for this banner. I see it almost every day. So think about those high traffic areas and start asking around to see where you can place that banner. I think we hit all the questions. Anything else? Am I missing any questions here?
I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing any on Facebook either.
Matt said the mummy hot dog was as hard as a rock. So we dared to do it, but
How many other places are you going to make a hot dog mummy? I mean, come on, Scouts. That's where it's at.
yes, it was awesome. The STEM experiments are so much fun. Like, so
They really are. If you haven't checked those out, that Jenny and Matt have been just going to town on those, and they are so fantastic, so professional, and so much so they're using in the schools, which is super, super amazing. So it's really great content. And what's fun, like Jenny was saying, and I know some other units, especially PACs, have been using it as a combo of virtual and in person, making this transition. So a great way to transition kids back into scouting.
Chris or Jenny, can you drop the link in for the plug and play program? And we'll drop that link, and then I think we got all of our questions answered. Awesome. Thank
I
you.
just dropped one link. The STEM meetings will be up this week. We are putting the final touches on the very last meeting tonight and first thing in the morning, and then Chris will have them to get them up on the website.
Yay. Also, I want to note about the STEM meetings is that they have all been used already with scouts, with kids. So they're tested, they're fun, like these are all kind of expertly built programs with Jenny and Matt. They've just done a great job on this. So excited to see some more of our Cub Scout packs utilize them. All right, folks, I think that brings us to our end. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Greatly appreciate everybody taking the time right before dinner here or your next Scout meeting to learn more about everything that we have here at CPC. And please fill out the survey so that we can get your feedback to know what we need to work on next. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.